We are surrounded by chaos and progress. With the clock ticking, can we possibly have everything ready for our wedding here at Chateau de Purnon in only a few months' time? This week, scaffolding comes down, our roof continues to go up, tons of earth gets moved around, and a timely repair gets the chateau one step closer to being ready. High above Purnon's bridge, engraved in stone, are the family coats of arms of the chateau's first owners, framed by an ornate pediment and under two oculi crowned with stone pyramids echoing the shape of the chateau's dormers. For nearly 250 years, these elements have withstood the battering weather from the southern side of the chateau, and many of the stone features had eroded or were falling. Over 3 years ago, the scaffolding was erected over this section of the chateau for the restoration works to begin. The coats of arms were restored. Enormous stones were hoisted onto the scaffolding to replace the degraded pediment stones. The stonework and the windows of the oculi were restored. Protective lead flashing was crafted above the pediment to protect the stonework for centuries to come. And all the stonework in this central section was restored. Finally this week, the scaffolding came down, revealing the spectacular work and dedication of our artisans.
The restoration of Purnon's breathtaking roof is a work of exquisite craftsmanship. Each week, our roofers get closer to finishing the installation of the 47,000 slates, each one hand-cut and secured by 2 nails, exactly the way the roof was originally constructed. Except today we use copper nails, which will last much longer than the forged iron ones used at the end of the 18th century. And with the restoration of Purnon's stone dormers now complete, the intricate task of installing the flashing continues. These superb handcrafted finishes will ensure that the incredible work across the roof is not compromised at the point where the slates meet the complex stone shapes.
There's some days here that make you just want to cry, and today's one of them. 2 years ago, we worked to find one of our fragile terrace walls had collapsed. The cold conditions had frozen and expanded the water content of the porous tuffeau stone, causing the wall to collapse. It was a heartbreaking moment as we were learning to expect the unexpected. But this week our stonemasons came to the rescue, and the collapsed terrace wall is now repaired. Purnon's dry moat creates a dramatic setting for the chateau. It was never designed to have water in it, but had a practical purpose, allowing domestic staff to enter and leave the chateau discreetly via the tunnels, thus keeping the main entrance of the chateau reserved exclusively for the family and their guests. The precarious condition of the walls had been a concern for us for some time. In the 1990s, a section of the wall was rebuilt in a way that compromised the historic integrity of the wall. 6 months ago, we commenced the restoration of the eastern wall with its cellars and well.
Là, il faut démonter cette longueur-là.
The wall was first completely dismantled, and before it could be rebuilt, a concrete retaining wall was created, with drainage to drive water away from the stonework. The top of the cellars were reinforced, the cellars themselves were restored, the original well was repaired, and stone by stone, the entire wall was rebuilt. This week, our stonemasons put the finishing touches on the restored eastern wall. They also started removing tons of earth to return the moat to its original level. And uncovered a large underground cistern. Understanding Purnon's original 18th century water network has posed many questions during the restoration of the moat. Preserving the original 18th century system,
j'essaie de comprendre c'est comment ça fonctionne au 18e déjà.
comprehending the 19th century modernisation modifications, and finding the right solution for the future has been complex. In the 18th century, water flowed from the chateau roof to a system of stone gutters in the moat, which Tim set to work uncovering this week. In the late 19th century, a large underground cistern was added when the chateau was modernised to have running water. However, with the level of this cistern sitting above the original moat level, a decision needs to be made by our architect about how to manage this.
Parce que la citerne, d'abord, elle est quand même de 1890, hein, je veux dire, donc elle fait partie aussi de l'histoire. Ce qu'il faut être, c'est rabaisser les regards, enfin les éléments, et puis après, on peut donner un bombé quand même au sol. Je veux dire, et après, du moment qu'on a 10 cm ou 15 cm de terre, voilà. Mais moi, je laisserai la citerne, et puis ça peut être intéressant aussi d'avoir une réserve d'eau, parce qu'on ne sait jamais. Aujourd'hui, on peut pomper dedans.
Est-ce qu'on rebranche les pluviales dedans ou pas?
Et ben, alors après, il faudrait savoir comment elle fonctionne en trop-plein.
Well, we were warned by our architect at the outset that things would get way worse before they got better, and that's certainly been true over the last few weeks. We've got earth all around us. The dry moat is a complete mess.
Yeah.
You can see the stones sitting here on the bridge, waiting to be put in place by our stonemasons on the facades behind us. Our roads and paths around the chateau have been really completely churned up by the huge trucks that have been working all around us. But we have faith, and we know that we can get all of this tidied up, all of this work finished, hopefully before our wedding in a few months' time.
I'm glad you've got faith, because I feel like we're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step backwards at the moment. I mean, the repair to the terrace wall was fantastic this week as well, but there were massive disruptions on the inside of the chateau, which ground our interior works to a halt for 2 weeks now. And so for our exclusive weekly video for our YouTube and Patreon members, we go into that in greater detail. Otherwise, if you'd like to follow the restoration of Chateau de Purnon more closely, we post frequent updates on Instagram. We post an exclusive weekly video for our YouTube and Patreon members. Otherwise, just hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and we'll keep you updated here.